we're getting late in the season now, and so everything's coming very few and far between. But I've been having good luck selling those old 60-volt snappers. The second one just left. I sold it with a weed eater bundle, or excuse me, a blower. This one was a blower. I found it on eBay for a good price, and so I needed the battery. I had a two and a half amp hour battery, and so I bought it. And then sold them together just like I sold the first one that I had with the weed eater, except I got a trade on this one. I found that you have to have the right person to buy those 60-volt snappers. Like the first guy had a downtown yard and just needed something small and economical for him. The second guy that just bought or that traded me this, he was just looking for something that wasn't gas, pretty much, just used as a trim mower, and also have an electric blower that was easy for his wife to turn on so she didn't have to pull a rope and stuff like that to blow off the patio. So it was a perfect buy for him. These electric mowers, I'm pretty generous on the trades. Just for example, I was asking $280 for the lot of the mower and the blower. I let them have it for $175 plus this, because I'm just trying to get my money back on those. Usually, I'd only ask for 40 or 50 bucks for a mower like this, because the mower itself is going to be no more than $120 mower. So but selling that combined with selling this will give me the money that I'm looking for, and honestly, that's all I'm trying to look for with those 60-volt snappers, just because they're at least I thought they were much harder to sell. So that's why. Anyways, long story short, this is a Lawn Boy 20-inch 675 Briggs, made in 2010, so a later one, and honestly it looks in better condition than a lot of or than a few of those new Murray mowers that I got. So again, it's looking great. What I like about these is it's got the big wide wheels on the front of it, and again, you got a 20-inch deck with a 675 Briggs on it, so it's going to be a pretty stout cut mower. It looks like it's AYP made, like the same folks that make Craftsman and Husqvarna, just by the way the deck looks. But it does run, which is why I gave so much money for it, or let him trade for so much money. It doesn't have a ton of gas in it. But he did say that sometimes it won't restart when warm, so I'm curious as to why that would be the case. He's got, gosh, I can't remember the type of grass, but it's one that you got to cut really low. And so I'm wondering, here, I'll let y'all hear it start here. Hopefully I got enough gas to get it going. So again, starting on the first pull or second pull, runs good. Sounds like it's starving for fuel or starving for air a little bit. So it's one of two things, and we're going to check the air filter together here. The oil is good. The blade's good. I'll show you all under the deck here in just a second. Air filter. What does the air filter look like? Air filter, it's got some grass and stuff in it. It's got a lot of grass and trash in the carb. The air filter is actually just fine. So my guess is that, we got a bunch of grass and mess right here. The type of grass that he was cutting with has probably got some trash and stuff in the carburetor, as you can see. So that's going to be a pretty easy fix. Probably just do a carb clean on it, and should be in good shape. That's the Ready Start mower, so no prime, well, there's a choke on it, but they advertise as no prime, no choke. That's auto choke. But yeah, that's I think we'll have a good trade. Like I said, this is a $120 mower max. If I get $100 for it, I'll be doing good and get my money back on it. And these are so much easier to sell than battery powered mowers, because the market is much larger for gas powered mowers. So that's kind of why I did the trade. I'll clean out the carburetor, and hopefully we'll have a good mower here. We should. Like I said, the carb looked a little dirty, but everything else looks pretty good on it. So I'll clean out the carb and we'll test it out. So I got the carburetor off. You'll kind of know how to do that by now. Just 3/8 inch bolts. You take 5/16 inch off the for the air filter housing. Take your air filter off and stuff, and the 1/2 inch to get the bowl nut off. You can tell this mower hasn't been used a lot because there's been old gas that has sat in this mower for a while. As you can see, it's a little bit gummed up inside there. A little bit gummed up right there in that hole. So that would probably be a good reason why it wasn't running the best, but wasn't running terribly. So you can see everything's just kind of a little dirty on the carb too. But nothing a wash will do, or won't do for it. So I'm just gonna get blow it out with compressed air and all that. And I wanted to show you all under the deck here too, like I mentioned before. Hopefully I won't lose any of the bolts, but if you look under there, you can tell it hasn't been used very much. I'll have to sharpen the blade on it. The oil is so clean on it, I'm not even going to have to change it. So this mower right here probably doesn't have a lot of hours on it. Whoever used it last. So like I said, I'm going to clean everything off on it in the carburetor here, and put it back together and see if it runs a little bit better. Put some fresh gas in it too. I wanted to give you all a sample of what fuel came out of it. It's a little bit green, partially because the gas line was a little bit dirty. Not too bad. Just kind of scraped the residue from the gas line out and let a little bit of gas run out. But I've got it all back together. Like y'all saw, the carb wasn't in bad shape, but my guess is what happened, we're going to take it on down, put gas in it, and test it out. But my guess is what happened was that this guy probably bought it secondhand off of somebody, and whoever the original owner was either never used it or barely used it and left it in the garage, or didn't winterize it, got it out the next year, had bad gas in it, and it wouldn't crank. And from what I can figure, it probably got into the hands of somebody to service it, and they serviced it and put a new air filter and stuff in it and clean out the carburetor, and then this guy gets it, and somehow carburetor's not 100% right on it. With it not starting warm, and you heard it was running a little rough. So I cleaned it out again. I'll put gas in it. We'll take it down into the test bed, and we'll run it a little while and test to make sure that it'll start when warm as well. Alright, so I've got gas in it. We're put it in the test bed, and we'll see if this thing will run. I can already hear it's running much better. Quite a bit smoother than before I took the carb off. So this is actually going to be a really nice trim mower for somebody. But I'll let it sit here for a little bit, let it run. We'll come back in a few minutes and we'll start it warm. So I'll let it run for about 10 minutes maybe. So we're gonna turn it off, loosen my string up right here. And I'm gonna set this down and we're gonna try and restart it about 3 or 4 times and see what happens. So it seems to be restarting well. One last test, and I won't show this on camera just because no real need to, but I'm going to let it sit for about 5 minutes, make sure that it starts that way, and then I'll sharpen the blade, clean it up, and we'll have a nice little lawn boy here. So this mower was so clean I didn't even worry about putting the hose to it. I just dusted it off and seemed to have, you know, done a pretty good job. Like I said, just had a little dust on it. As you can see, this thing's barely been used. It's got, you know, a little bit of dirt and stuff caked on it, but it's just, you know, barely even anything for what it is. So just cleaned off the deck. The thing looks great. You know, it doesn't look brand new, but it looks pretty darn good for what it is. So we'll give this a final look and start, or a final start for y'all, and that should be it for it. So yeah, I still got a little dust on it, but you know, I always dust off the mowers before I sell them anyway, so just put the rag to it, dust it off. But it's starting upright, running good. It's gonna make a nice mower for somebody, and between this and the electric snapper, I'll get what I want for the 60-volt snapper between selling this one. Like I said, this one's gonna be much easier to sell, especially come the spring. So thank y'all for watching. It's nice to get kind of this late trade-in, and really only took me about 45 minutes of working on it to get it going again. So well worth the time, and well worth the time spent. So thank y'all for watching. Still working on the new Mowers, so hopefully I'll be getting another couple videos up here in the next week or two. But for now, thank y'all for watching. Stay tuned for next time.